Hi guys, how are you? I'm Rushan, and I'm about to talk about this concept of contemporary art in nowadays, how it can be implemented in our everyday lives, And to be honest, I have been really struggling to assess, to get this point out of it, how this relates to the topic of where people living nowadays, working from, let's say, 9 to 5. Uh, does does this concept of art has anything to do with us, And is it something that is a far topic and unrelatable to our everyday lives? This contemporary art, is it really meaningful? Does it really have to do with anything with us? Is it just like a historical, or it's contemporary, so it's not just historical, but is it really meaningful? And I think without to search that answer right in, I think the best way is to not just look at this concept of art or contemporary art or whatever that name is from left to right. I believe it has to do with our beliefs and more close to us, like what do you believe in? Why do you believe in love? Or, why do you think children and families are important? That kind of thing. I think contemporary art can be related to anything, but it can be related to anything, but if you relate to more like what our heart is telling, more like a philosophical, spiritual journey into it, I think it's going to be much more interesting, And I think it seems that the contemporary art has to do with three things. One thing is like a personal development and journey, and the second one is storytelling, and third one is helping for the betterment of the society, sending across the message, sort of thing. And I think all of them are very important, but it's very sophisticated, it's very difficult, so it's very difficult to get hang of it. But I believe it can be related to our lives very easy, and it becomes very meaningful when we dig into ourselves deeper and deeper first, and then it can be expanded, so I think we have to deal into more of our this philosophical self in order to understand this contemporary, but I can explain you some very easy example that can be relate to everyone, and signify a broadened understanding of this contemporary and art, and that is contemporary art has to do more like for like happiness, more than just like business or making profit out of it and stuff, Oh yeah, some people do make lots of money from art, but that shouldn't be, in my opinion, that shouldn't be aimed at it. It has to come out naturally as a result of the profit. But in my case, I got into this University of Melbourne, and specialized in fine arts in Victorian College of Arts, they call it. And in there I really learned so many things, like how to use how to do paintings and how to explain the artwork and how to reference and with another different kind of artists and various artists, and how to associate it with people, how to do gallery and stuff. They made me practice gallery as well. And however, I dropped out when I was second year, and the reason I dropped out is because I was very worried about my future financial direction. Would I be really able to make money out of it? And those kind of worries that just really kept me, going backwards. And these were the factors that I really want to just talk about it. That is it really art meaningless? Is it really meaningful in our lives? And it took me 15 years to identify that question right, and to get that answer right. And that is, art is really about happiness. And you really gotta get that, courage to really move forward into that direction, not the business side. And I really feel like that business side that you are worrying about, what people worries, even the artists worries. If you're really sticking into this direction of the happiness and the art field, then people are going to follow you through in some. It might take time, but in some ways, time to time, they will start, cheering you up, and they will, support you through it. And so you don't have to worry about this business side, but you really have to worry about this happiness and artistic side. So it's really about following your strength. But some people have two strengths, like they are really good at business as well as art. Then go for it. You can go for both, but not many artists are good at both. So you have to really follow your intuition and guts, but also your strengths and weaknesses in order to identify what you're really good at. So, and weaknesses are also an important element that you have to brush up on it when it comes to art, or whether in some ways for some people, if they are good at both, then you have to brush up on both. But let's say in my case, I'm not really a business type, but I'm really an artist type. Let's say in ratio, like I have like 9 here and 1 here, 1 only for the business. Now I would really have to go for 90% of my work should get into that artistic side, right? It's only from that you can really understand that is really art and meaningful thing. And I say yes because I have starting to following my passion on this side as 90% almost. So that's why I can feel really like is it really just meaningful or not meaningful, from a very different perspectives, and yeah, so I'm going back to the topic of happiness and art. If you're really good at talking, if you're really good at speeching out, telling stories and stuff, then should you follow artistic side? I say probably, but not completely, because going back to the business and art of facts again, this comparison again. Um, this art is really about happiness, and this business is about, success and all that, like numbers and profits and stuff. If you are chasing to this art direction, then you are going to lose your money side of it at first hand, but money comes later. If you are chasing the business side, then money might come from the first hand, but you might lose the other side of the coin, which is the art side. And it's been said that from my own uncle, not all uncle, he's still alive. He told me that art and business is like flip coins. It's like head and tails, and head and tail. And if you are doing this art, if you are in this art world, then there's always this business world that is going on. So you have to understand that more artists there is, more business there is in this world. So it is important to note that not every people are meant to be artists, not every people are meant to be business as well, but we help each other and synergize each other, cooperate each other, and associate each other one another to help make this society better and make this development of art and this strategy of businesses to make this society better. So it all comes to this social betterments. However, to reach that point, we need to understand ourselves a lot, and even whether it's business or art, it's the same thing. We have to understand from our personal journey into this spiritual realm that it is in ourselves. Well, some of us don't believe in that much of a spirituality, but it is essential, whether it's in business or in the art. It is essential to understand the spirituality. Otherwise, it's hard to understand both. Spirituality is like in the center part where you can balances out both kind of it's the most essential part of the, like a prayer sort of, the center point. And I believe people who are very flexible on let's say communicating, and people who are very flexible on strategizing, like business model and business planning and stuff. At first those two doesn't link, but if you look at it in a spiritual perspective, then those two really link, because spirituality is in the center point. It connects people and people together in one point. That's why. So this art is contemporary art. People start making art right away and try to understand this, but to be honest, in my experience, nearly 15 years, I'm 33 now, so I've been making art since 7 years, so basically 20 years. I'm not really good at maths, but however, it takes really tons of time to understand what art is. It's like a life lesson, really. So in order to get this life lesson correctly, we have to dig into our personal journey much deeper, without telling ourselves you can't do this, you can't do that, also all sorts of things. We have to be positive in ourselves. It's something that you have might heard of it in a school and home as well, home, and it's about giving this positive feedback to ourselves, because giving what you give in and nourishing ourselves into is nourished outside of the society. So it's this linkage, it's linked together. So if you want to give a good social impact to the world, you have to give a good impact to ourselves as well. So it is vital that if to enhance our ability to understand our own spiritual self, then it is vital that you understand your strength and weaknesses, so that you can really just get that direction right. And it is after that you can make the society better. There are stages of this thing that you have to follow. And making an artwork, or for some strategizing the business model for the artist, is also the same thing. We have to counterbalance, based on our SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses, well, if it's possible, opportunity and threats as well. But for the artist, you might not have to think that deep. Maybe that business people might do that for you, but for both, it is essential to at least dig into strengths and weaknesses, or otherwise it's going to be very difficult to assess what the world needs and what world needs to solve. It is way difficult questions that needs to be asked in order to solve society, and we can't do this by ourselves, or by alone. We have to rely on so many people. The bigger the society, the scale it gets, the problem it gets, the bigger and more the number of people that we have to rely on it. So definitely it's not our own skill set, not just our own skill set, but it's a team effort and structural effort, and as a community, as a society kind of thing. So I call this together, simply in one word. Together means, we believe in that the limit that we have in individual ability, we break that and get that sort of synergy, the cooperation. Cooperation is not just the company, but cooperate each other. So this it is essential, vital that art is meaningful, not meaningful. The answer really isn't really the matter. When you are digging deep and deep, answer can be multiple, and it can be really seen in a very different perspective. So you don't have to really be stuck into the one world, but multiple world can be the answer as well. And in business concept, in business perspective, you can diminish that. You can contract, you can make the world in one place just one, but that could take time. I don't know how that works, but people try to get that sort of one community, one corporation, one idea into this strict structural form. That's what they call it as a company, right? But when it comes to art, well, usually I think that's should be broken and that stereotypical view should be broken out and should be seen more flexibly, so that our future generation can incorporate. We can also identify that our new way of view, how we look at it, can be incorporated into our vision and mission, or they call it. So art is very flexible in that term. Compared to business, it's also flexible, but I believe business is secondary, even for the business people, because they are here to help society and make people happy, actually. But when we look at the reality, that's not always the case, but that should be the ideal. So the art is more like happiness, and as I just mentioned, it's very flexible thing. Then is the business very inflexible thing in art perspective? Well, I just mentioned that it can be, work together in synergetic way, so that means you don't have to really be alone and be whichever it is, work together, and we can finally work things out and send message across to the audiences. So there's a limitation if you are alone in just business or art, whichever. But if you are working together, then the whole wide possibilities out there that will be working out for you. Right? So it's just like this YouTube video, or whether you're making art on canvas, it's practice and practice. It's about digging deep, making failures, success, continue that, and marching forward, so that you can meet another spiritual self, possibly, and hopefully a higher self, and so that you can really, just like ourselves and society are mirrored, good self means better society. So we just gotta brush on ourselves again and again, until we know that this working on ourselves are going to just truly making this world a better place to be. So there are hunger, poverty, and like hunger as in starvation, and diseases that should be prevented, that should be overcome. But there are heaps of other problems, as environmental problems and all as well, that should be solved, but it's not being solved at the moment. So we truly can get a help from art world as well as from the business world, both in perspective, and we can make this world hopefully a better place. So why people are not going to do that is another topic that we are going to cover here, because art and business, it's all about solving these problems, these very strong, very deep problems that relates to our lives as a society. And how are we going to do that? People really ask this question about how or what are we going to do, And I say stop saying that, like that's a secondary question to be asked. First we have to answer why we're gonna do that. Why are we gonna do that? Are we gonna do that to just make the profit out of it, or are we just gonna do that just for the concept of art? So coming back to this very first question, what is art? Is art meaningful? And I say yes, only if these problems of diseases, poverty, environment problems are going to be solved. I think in that case only, this art is going to be truly meaningful thing. And like I just said, questioning of how and what is the secondary thing. This why, because as soon as we deal with this question of why we're gonna do, then we manage ourselves naturally and get this answer, strategic answer of how and what. So how is really about strategizing things, like business model and business plans and stuff, USP, unique proposition value and stuff. But strategy is not going to help solve the problem at first. What you need at very first is the vision and mission. In business world, in artist world, it's called what happiness is about. It's about reinventing the ideas in art field. So we have to do that rather than just trying to really get stuck into this how and what things. So it's about intention that is very important. Right mindfulness and intention, like a Buddhist concept. Like a Buddhist belief and the principle that they give you. It's kind of similar to that. Right intention, right mindfulness, especially right intention is about why. Right intention is very important because that is an attitude towards how you're going to work on it. My right intention is about together, and together, how to achieve that together is love and appreciation. And I just said how, but love and appreciation and together is more like a field of why. So first, getting the fundamentals right is the most important aspects in life, I believe. So what I just covered today is very broad, and I haven't really dig deep enough, or maybe for some people it might be overflowing, but I just want to conclude and finish with this, that to make society better, we need to understand and give a good care of ourselves, and that is the most shortcut in making the world a better place. So that's how I'm going to conclude today, and thank you for watching my video. And I'm gonna, I'm not gonna sure I'm gonna edit it, but please stick to it, and I hope your life and the standards of life get better with right intentions, not just like profit and strategies and so on. But I hope your happiness index go up, and hope this world gets much more happiness that it deserves. So let's stop damaging this earth, and let's make this thing work together. So thanks guys, and I appreciate if you can subscribe my channel, and let's hope to enjoy our and cherish this moment and now. So, act now and without regret. Let's just do it. So thanks guys, bye for now.